What's going on, all you gamers? Here we are back with some more Outriders, and today I'm going to be going over 3 mods that I have found absolutely destroy things at close range. If you're a pyromancer and you find yourself being in close range constantly, so for example if you're using the acari set where, hands down, most of the time you are heatwaving everything, these 3 mods absolutely tear things apart. So if you want to see what they are, then stay tuned. That's coming up next. Welcome back, all you gamers. As always, Full Things Gaming, Full Things Xbox, and of course all the latest and greatest in gaming and more Outriders on the way, then why not hit that subscribe and bell icon. But for today you're here to see 3 mods that go really well hand in hand as such in close range anomaly builds. So if you're a pyromancer and you're using that close range damage to your advantage, especially with things such as the acari set, these mods may well help you out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chuck on a little bit of footage showing what they're about, and then afterwards I'll go over the mods themselves. Right, so hopefully from that footage you can see there's a lot involving pretty much smashing things in the face. You can hit things with your heat waves, you can just ground and pound, there's a lot of melee action. It's a lot of close range fun. Also, if you notice, I was kind of holding back. I wasn't using any of my big moves, I wasn't putting moaning winds into the situation, I was just trying to show you how effective it could be just from using your normal skills. If you were trying to push it that extra bit further with the damage, you would absolutely disintegrate everything at close range and have a lot of fun whilst doing it. Now, 2 of these mods I have gone over a little while back, but we found a 3rd that goes kind of hand in hand with it and makes it even stronger. Right, so the first mod I'm going to talk about is this one just here, Twice as Hot. Whenever a skill is used, inflict an extra 39,901 damage to all enemies afflicted with burn. Like I said, you're playing close range. If you're a pyromancer, especially if you're an acari pyromancer, but any really, most times unless you're playing Nash build, this right here will absolutely tear things apart. Even if you're playing as a gun build, if you've got Inferno rounds on, you can also use this. Any skills you use afterward will also apply this to everything that's on fire. Really fun, really powerful, and especially at close range if you can make it work. And next up, just one of my favourite mods in the game. This right here, absolutely amazing. Now, the build that I had on when I was in the cave wasn't the strongest for anomaly power. As you can see here, using skills deals 36,643 damage to enemies within a 5 meter radius. That goes up depending on what your anomaly power is, 30% of it. So as you can see, mine wasn't the strongest at the time. We were buffing it a little bit, but it wasn't the highest, and we were still able to take out all of those alphas, all of those brood queens without significant damage and without worrying too much. It's really fun to put these two together, and if you can make your build quite tanky, and if you can make your build so that it will basically be able to stay in close range, i.e. that 5 meter radius, and you manage to pull off quite a lot of anomaly power in your build, this will absolutely destroy all of the enemies and the elites, and also completely batter some of the bosses. Really fun, and those two work hand in hand perfectly. Now next up, and this one is a bit of a hidden gem. Martial Arts reduces the cooldown of your melee skill by 50%. Now you don't really think much of that because most of the time you're not trying to build around the whole punch things in the face build, so this one doesn't really come into it as much. But let me just show you something. If you've got that on, this is how fast your melee comes back. Right, that's not quite, but I'd say it's almost a second, maybe a little bit over, maybe 1.5 give or take. You will not get anything that is able to be activated that fast. Now because you're doing that, it's also classed as a skill. So guess what? It's gonna proc those other two mods. So if you're in close range and you've got all those enemies around you, basically set them on fire and then absolutely batter them. If you wanted to change over and put the Moaning Winds into the rotation, they'd take even more damage. If you want to use your big hit like your Volcano, absolutely massive damage. Every time you're using your skills, it's going to proc the other two mods. As long as they're on fire, as long as you're within that 5 meter radius, everything is going to absolutely melt like butter. It is really fun, and as long as you can make your build kind of able to be survivable enough for that close range, these work absolutely amazing. What I would say is, I haven't mentioned it in this one because 9 out of 10 people will have it on. If you are using this kind of a build, make sure you've got Burnt Out on so that you'll be getting 25% extra damage every time you apply the heat waves. If you could say get 3 heat waves into it as well, they'll be taking 75% extra damage on top of that, on top of your twice as hot, on top of whatever moves you're doing. Honestly, a lot of fun, and for close range encounters, these 3 work absolutely amazing. Right, well you gamers, I'm sure I've taken up enough time as always, but just something to think about if you're trying to kind of have a little bit of a look at different builds as such. If you're trying to go that close range, you may want to give this a try. You'd probably be able to pull off something really fun, really nice, probably a bit tanky as such, but it will clear the content and you will enjoy punching things to do it. As always guys and girls, that's all for today. There'll be more tomorrow. Take care, I'll see you on the next day.